And hey everybody, I have not made a video this entire semester. My last video was in July, and now it is the end of December. So I figured now is as good a time as any to look back on the last semester and make a video about the pros and cons of teaching band during a pandemic. My name is Caleb, and you're watching The Future Millionaire Teacher.
Hey guys, so before the video gets started, while the little opening credit thing is playing, I realized now that I'm making my edits, I forgot to ask for you guys to comment below what band looks like for you. So are you guys allowed to play indoors? Do you have to have masks on? What does all that look like? And then I'm also interested to know what were your pros and cons for the semester. Did you like the way things went at your band program? What do you want to see differently? What do you think I could do differently in my band? I'm just interested to know what is going on in your band. So go ahead and comment below. Also subscribe. Yeah, subscribe or my dog will be very upset with you.
Before we get going into the pros and the cons of what teaching band looked like this semester, I want to paint a picture about what my program looked like this semester. As a staff, we decided not to go to any of the WAVE football games. We decided as a staff not to go to any marching contest or to learn a marching show. In fact, we really took it easy with marching band just because there were so many people in that one group that would be in one location at the same time. In fact, we didn't even march and play at the same time until November. During band class, we spaced our band out, larger than the district minimum actually. We had puppy pads in the classroom for the students to empty their water on. Students came into one door, left out through another. We adjusted the way that we have morning rehearsals, who we let into the band hall before school. We made a lot of changes to minimize the amount of people that would be in one place at one time. Now, the way that we did band looks a lot different than the way that a lot of my friends did band this semester. And that brings me to my first con, which is that there is no one unified set of standards or guidelines or protocols on what to do and how to do band. There's literally no leadership from basically any level, whether it's the state, federal, or local. For example, a lot of my friends are in districts that have different policies on how to do band within the same district. From school to school, from middle school to high school in the same cluster. Some places, their middle schools can play inside, but their high schools are not allowed to play inside. And in some places, one school decided to have a competitive season and another school decided not to have a competitive season. This is because of the lack of ability to make decisions and go with them. Very fortunate for me that we were in a district that let us make a decision on how we were going to handle our season. But this situation only exists because there was no leadership from the top that said you will or won't be able to do this. A lot of open-ended things, a lot of open-ended regulations and protocols and guidelines and recommendations that led to pretty much total confusion on how to do everything. Should you be going on a bus from place to place? Should you require your students to put bell covers on the end of their brass instruments? Should you require woodwind players to put the bags around their entire clarinet or saxophone? Are you going to have your students wear the mask with the mouth hole? All of those questions have no answer from any authoritative level that is higher than a campus principal. Every campus, every program handled it differently across the state and really across the nation. That is a con, in my opinion, creating different standards and creating a real sense of confusion across the band world about what we could and couldn't do. I will say though, that out of this con of confusion came our pro. In our program, we were fortunate enough to have band at all. I still have friends who haven't seen their students in person at all the entire year. So a real pro for me personally is that I'm able to have band and meet with my students every day. Every day we are meeting in class, we're playing in class, in the band hall, albeit socially distanced. A real pro has been able just to be able to do the band thing. We were going to home football games, socially distanced. We did have a winter concert, socially distanced. And we do have rehearsal every day. And we have rehearsal outside of school, socially distanced. But at least we're having band. And that, to me, is probably the biggest pro that I'm fortunate to have that many of my friends don't have. But that does bring me to my next con, which is what we did miss out on. Even from the very beginning, we missed out on getting to meet freshmen because we didn't have a freshman camp in August. We didn't have a full band camp. We had a virtual band camp. We missed out on a regular band camp. We missed out on hours and hours of rehearsal time to kind of install our program with the freshmen. We missed that bonding time with the freshmen. We missed all of the summer rehearsal time that our students normally get their chops back into shape and get ready for the next school year. We missed out on a ton of the things that our seniors look forward to, like pep rallies and contests and going to the away games. We missed out on a lot of the normal things that make marching band marching band. But what I will say that this pandemic has forced me to do, it has forced me to become a better teacher on the individual level, which is my next pro, becoming a better teacher on the individual level. With so many students in my band, particularly that are Zoom students, about a third of my band is made up of virtual students who attend every day live on a Zoom call. It has forced me to become way more particular about the level of individual instruction that I'm able to give or that I'm required to give, because we all know that it's impossible to play band with multiple people at the same time on a Zoom call. That forces me to become more individually based. So this semester, more than any semester I would say since I've become a high school band director, have I listened to individuals play down the row more often. In fact, nearly every other week, I would say, I've had a down the row assignment where students are given an assignment at the beginning of the week, and then by the end of the week, they're expected to play it down the row. This has happened way more often this year for me than it has in the past. It's made me aware of each student's own individual progress, and I'm able to kind of keep track of that and follow each student's growth. I can give more personalized instruction, and I really feel that as a teacher, I've been giving more individual, specific areas of growth to each student than I have really at any time since I've been a high school band director. But I will say that does take me to my last con, which is teaching over Zoom sucks. You know it, I know it, because I'm sure that taking a class over Zoom sucks. You know it, I know it, but it is what it is. It is incredibly tough as a teacher who teaches a class that is a participation-based class to teach Zoom and live at the same time, constantly managing the live students while still trying to give quality instruction to the Zoom students, also while trying to make the class interesting for the Zoom students. It's something that I've personally challenged myself with this year is how can I make the band experience interesting and maybe even fun for somebody who is sitting at home in their bedroom practicing, along with a Zoom recording or a Zoom rehearsal, which, as we all know, the audio quality on Zoom isn't exactly perfect, especially when you throw all of the sound that a concert band can give at one little MacBook. So it's been a challenge for me. I really haven't enjoyed it, as I'm sure that people who are taking classes virtually can attest to. It's not the most fun thing to play along to a warm-up while you're the only person in your room, or sing along to a warm-up while you're the only person in a room. It's been a challenge for me. I haven't enjoyed it, and I will greatly appreciate when all of this is done and students can come back and we can do band in person. Band is obviously an activity that we all love doing together. I mean, a band is a group of people, so it's super difficult and probably not as fun if you're doing band individually. Just know that it's not always the most fun thing to also teach the Zoom people and the live people at the same time. I will say, though, that through teaching the Zoom class, it has challenged me as a teacher to do things that I have never thought to do before, which brings me to my last pro, and probably the best thing to come out of this entire semester, which is that I have had to think outside of the box and get outside of my comfort zone as a teacher to do things that I've never done before. It's also forced me to come up with content that I think the students will also find interesting, whether or not they're live or a Zoom student. For example, usually our down the row assignments are some sort of scale pattern or scale study or warm-up exercise. But one week we did the American Idol down the row, which was the students could pick literally anything they want. Some students chose to do a scale study, some students chose to do a warm-up exercise, but some students chose to do a pop tune or music from their favorite video game. And it was interesting to see that level of creative expression or choice or what chances they wanted to take. Stuff like that I have really enjoyed kind of being able to do because it's 2020. Why not do it? If there's ever a year to do something new and crazy, we're going to do it. So for example, since we didn't have a competitive marching season, we didn't have a show to work on during the fall semester. This freed us up to do things that we would normally never do in Texas during the fall. For example, the symphonic winds that I work with, we were able to spend a month studying the whole second suite. Not for contest, not for a concert, literally just for fun. Every day we would come in, warm up, read through the whole suite, maybe tackle a new movement, and that was that. I can't imagine there being a time before where anybody would have taken time during September, October, prime marching season and said, you know what, we're going to work on the whole suite, or we're going to work on some concert band music. One of the pros is that since we've been trying new things, I've been able to just try concert band music the entire semester. And it's been obviously super rewarding because I'm a huge concert band nerd. Looking back on the semester, in order to kind of analyze it, I will use the standard that the other assistant director at the high school uses whenever he finishes something, especially this semester. The standard that he uses is, well, was it terrible? No? Not that terrible? Then it was a success. And if I look back on the fall semester, even though all of the normal things that we're accustomed to didn't happen, we still had to make do, and we did make do. And if I look back on it and I say, was that last semester terrible? No, not terrible. By that standard, it was a success. Hopefully, with the vaccine coming out and the warmer weather that the spring will bring, we can get things close to back to normal, and we can get back to those things that we like the large concerts, the competitive marching contests, and going to all those away football games. Until then, we will keep socially distancing, and we'll keep trying new things. Thanks for watching.